Well, howdy there, folks. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your host, idjester, and this is going to be a short video out there for all of my Age of Wonder 3 fans. As of 8:47 a.m. on March 27th, they have released the brand new update, version 1.2. This seems to be, from what I've been looking through, a massive update. And we're just going to go through some of the important things that have been added, changed, deleted, altered. Age of Wonders 3, as you know, if you've been on my game channel for a while, has been one of the games I've been most looking forward to in 2014. Got to play a whole bunch of it a while back, but we are going to continue looking at Age of Wonders 3 here. Probably get another playthrough at some time. But let's look at what this 1.2 update has brought to the table here for us. So buffs are added in bold and nerfs are in italics, which means anything that's new or better is in bold. Anything deleted or not as good is in italics. So some of the stuff that I'm not going to go through, if you see it in bold, that means it's been added. Italics, obviously, it means it's been deleted or buffed down some. So they've added some new speed settings to the game. They've added some tactical play. Will play out at higher speeds. AI will cast disjunctions in tactical maps. Let's see what else. The water combat fixes. I was never really a big fan of the water combat. It just seemed like it was thrown on there. And it seems like this is going to be much more better. This is exactly. It was felt the water combat was messy and unfocused. And with unembarking units feeling the same due to their firing ballistas and fire cannons and all kinds of things. And yeah, so transports can no longer change hit point types. Transport no longer give unit abilities such as cannon fire and fire ballista. Embarked now units get -3 defense and -1 res. XP system change. This is actually, it's kind of a short section, but this is kind of a biggie where the guys that were shooting 3 times, the range units that were doing 3 attacks as opposed to your units that only had 1 attack, seemed like they were getting a lot more XP. Well, that's kind of fixed with this this little system change here now. Abilities that can only fire once per turn are now given twice the engagement XP of abilities that can fire repeatedly. Ranged abilities that do not do damage, such as throw curse, can now give XPs as well. So that's going to actually balance things out a little bit better with the units being able to keep up. And it seemed like, I'm not sure if it was in this section or later on, it seemed like the level 1 units seemed to be buffed up a little bit. So hopefully they'll be able to stick around and last a little bit longer. The other thing they're kind of focused in on was actually making your race an important part of your choice for your character. Up until this point in the game, it seemed like race really didn't matter. It was just thrown on there, and yeah, sure, okay, I got orcs, or I got draconians, or I've got humans, or I got goblins. Yeah, okay, my goblins may be a little better than this, and maybe a little bit worse than this, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. Now there are some very important changes to how the race actually plays into things. You can see now all the race changes are obviously listed right here, and they've added a bunch of stuff. They've tried to make each of the different races have kind of I guess different abilities. Like the elves are going to be more fire and longbows. The humans are throwing nets more. The draconians are using firebolts. The dwarves are going to have, what are they getting here? Projectile resistance. Goblins here are extra blight damage. So each of the different races now, their units, aren't just all their units aren't just the same as all the others. You can see that your goblin bards, your scoundrels, and monster hunters going to get extra blight damage. So if you need to do extra blight damage or go on up against creatures that have blight weaknesses, you definitely would want to try to get your goblins to attack them. So that's a good tweak. I think they need to go even farther, possibly. I don't know. We haven't tried this yet. Then, of course, we have our unit stat balances, and you can see there is literally just a boatload of all the different things. You can notice a lot of these are lower level, and you can see that almost all of them have been buffed. Buffed. So your lower level units definitely did get buffed a little bit to make them not as wimpy later in the mid game and late game, is from what I see and from what I have read so far about this. The other thing is the summon creatures. There was kind of an issue, not really an issue with summon creatures, but just some wankiness with some of the summon spells. And they finally decided to put some like rules associated with the summoning stuff. And what I did some videos on the wizard, and we were casting summon fantastic creature, and you were never sure exactly which ones we were going to get, and some of them were really good ones and some were really crappy ones, and was it worth it, and yada yada yada. So now they really spent some time trying to focus in on summoning stuff, figuring out what's associated with which spell, and whether or not these creatures now are dedicated to good or dedicated to evil on the strategic map. So hopefully that'll all work out as well. Unit ability balances. You can see quite a list of unit ability balances as well. And class and specialization skill balances. So just still trying to balance all the classes and all the different units and how everything works together so that one character class isn't more powerful than other character classes. The other thing with the heroes were, and I think I'll get to it here later on down in the map, but I'll let you know now that heroes, now you won't have heroes show up that you can recruit unless, I should say this differently. Heroes that will arrive for you to recruit will only be from races that you currently own. So in the beginning of the game, if you're an orc, you will only have an orc show up. Now later on, if you take over a goblin town and maybe a human town, then you'll have either a goblin, a human, or an orc hero show up. But you won't get a draconian show up out of nowhere. So I think that's kind of interesting as well. Hero upgrade balances here. You can see some of the things that's been buffed up here. Balance fixes. Attacks of opportunity now all count as flanking. Wow, I didn't see that earlier, but that is really interesting. So if you're getting an attack of opportunity, it's now going to give you your flanking bonus. So wow, that could be really good for those classes that get extra damage for backstabbing and stuff like that. Critical hits now always do a maximum damage of plus 30%, and fumbles always do a minimum damage minus 30%. Okay, good. Watcher is no longer dedicated to evil. The Boneyard delaying the spawn of bone dragons on Archons a little bit. Okay. Builder units can now build bridges over 1 hexes of water. Oh, thank God. That is awesome. I think I had mentioned that in one of my episodes. I had that one area that I went way to the south, and there was like big water to the east, to the west side of it. And I walk all the way around it, and there was like that one little spot in there. I was like, oh, I wish we could build a bridge, because then we could just get across there and not have to go all the way around. So that's pretty good. I wish it would not limit it to 1 hex. That's a bummer. What they should do, and this is just right off the top of my head, what they should do is if you have two units, if you have two builders on opposite sides of say a 3 or 4 hex gap, if you have builders on both sides, then you should just build a bridge like you're building a road, just over the thing. That would make that much awesomer. But still, that's great. All right, then we're getting to general fixes and changes. Various fixes to optimization of performance. Game options such as render hex grid are now saved in the player's profile. Customize heroes from appearing in the wrong mount. Okay, I'm just looking through to see if there is anything that stands out to me. Fix the crash in multiplayer. Fix the black loading screen. Okay, regenerate walls will no longer bring back broken walls or doors underneath units. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I'm just looking through to see if there's anything that pops out. As I'm scrolling through this, you can see what I was talking about earlier. This is a massive update, and a lot of these things, I'm sure, from what I've read so far, people are just praising this patch and the company for getting this out so quickly and making so many great changes to the game. So far it's been well received, and it seems like the Triumph Studios, yes, couldn't remember the name here while I'm talking, has been doing a wonderful job of just supporting this game, adding to it, fixing things, listening to people that have, talked about issues or things that they'd like to see. Just wonderful support, and again, I can't recommend highly enough for you out there to support companies like this and make sure that they get their due for what they've been doing. I'm just going down the list here to see and continuing on here if there's anything. I'm kind of going slow so you guys can read as yourself if there's anything, or put it on pause. A lot of it is just miscellaneous things that don't really stand out as something that's like, oh, I got to tell people about that. But they are still very important. Don't get me wrong. I mean, every one of these is fixed. Various fixes for the inventory, item bag, and courier screen. I mean, that's all great and important thing. It's just nothing that I have to just tell people about. I guess I don't know. It is now required that you kill the whole army for a kill an army quest rather than one specific unit. Fixed a bug with global quests and time limits. Alright. Wonderful. Alright, scripting additions. They've added some different scripting things. Interface issues. We got a whole bunch of interface issues. Again, this is just another section of things that they've just errors that they come across. Skills with longer names no longer get a scroll bar but are cut off instead. Added the turns left until construction done in the city overview. Awesome. Alright, fix some Russian translation, networking and multiplayer changes. Basically now, when you connect to a multiplayer game, you will get either a good connection, a moderate connection, or a poor connection, and you can see the differences right there. And that's it. That is all the changes, but I will scroll back up through them so you can just gander at all these changes that have come through it. I would highly recommend, if you don't have this game, you definitely pick it up. You can pick it up on Steam or any of their online shopping vendors out there. It's definitely worth it. You can see by just all the awesome things that they've been doing with this game since it was released, all the wonderful additions, that this game is well supported by a great company. And again, I can't stress enough the fact that these good companies out there, you definitely want to support them, because we want these companies to stick around and show them that they are making the changes and that we do appreciate everything they've done. So hopefully they'll come out with some expansion packs for this soon and get us some more classes, some more races especially. I'm thinking maybe once they get done here with the tweaks. But if you're looking for more information about Age of Wonders, obviously go to ageofwonders.com, and you can look at all the information on the different races, the classes, and of course the update version 1.2 patch notes. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this was informative for you, and we'll see you next time.